Enhancements come in the form of filling in time and space with something that's going to divert the mind. The diversion of the mind can come in the form of an atemi, which is a strike that creates pain and distracts you, creates certain postures for you to further manipulate the musculoskeletal system. And distractions also come in the form of breaking balance. So as soon as you uproot the body, the mind also follows. So you uproot the body, you uproot the mind. So those are the top two ways to create a distraction, is to either hit them or unbalance them. And what would be the third best way? Or let's say the best way? Combination of both, right? I hit you and take your balance. Now I'm at an optimal position to do my technique, to finish doing what I'm doing. Because we have to always think of our encounters with another human in two stages in physical form. The first stage is what I personally call the self-defense or the life protection phase. That is when nothing has been fired off yet and I start feeling that spidey sense it's about to go, and I either preemptively attack you or you get the jump on me and then I have to defend. That initial exchange of energy, to me, is life protection. That is the self-defense portion of fighting. If it doesn't work, you're now fighting. They know that you both know you're fighting. So there is no dead space, because that dead space equals them hitting you. So that's where you have to resort back to temis and balancing, creating space and time. The greatest asset we have as martial artists is that we don't go around picking fights. So when someone approaches you, they don't know who you are. They don't know what you're capable of. So therefore, your element of surprise is at the peak of your arsenal. You can be docile. You can be, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. But the whole time now, you're understanding what's about to happen, but they don't. That is the life protection portion of self-defense. But if that initial exchange, he goes to push, I go to arm drag, it doesn't work, now we're here, now they know that I know something. And it's not going to be nearly as easy as if when they first go to grab you, push you, hit you, and they have no clue what you're capable of. And so that's where we have to now add the insurance policy, right? That is, introduce pain, introduce unbalancing, so that you continue to buy yourself time and space, okay? If I'm trying to arm drag and take his back, I don't want this elbow to get here. So to create more space here, I have to hit him here, which will create a hunch. Now there's a bigger space for me to get inside and drag, okay? So, back to the first one, same, this is what occurs now on your drag. So every time that this hand comes out, boom, you're striking, and then you're dragging. So one comes out, boom, the other one comes out, boom. And as soon as you hit, you finish what you were doing, okay? When you go to arm drag, this part of the arm back here is very sensitive. This is good, this is better. So if I can grab that meat like I'm going to rip it off, again, I create tension in the body. It allows me now to manipulate and move more. Because when you're stiff, you're easy to unbalance and manipulate versus someone who's very relaxed, right? So two things now. Atemi, as soon as that hits, pass, and then grab the skin as you drag. So now those are two things that are going to introduce a distraction via pain, unbalancing, and so on and so forth. Okay? Body types. They're a little taller. The top of the hip is a great place to strike. It pushes the hip, the femur back into the hip, and it locks the leg in. So say an entry here, as I hit, I drive. See how it drags his heels, and he's stuck. Because when you're here on your heels, you don't have mobility. All right? If you're stuck, you have no options, right? So say, boom. So as I hit here, I'm going to drive in, And then, here's another technique. Right to the part of the arm that splits the bicep and the tricep. So now I have 1, 2 on the way to the drag. Okay, so again, circling, 1, and then this comes up. I can hit with my wrist. If you guys practice koken strikes, I can hit with my back knuckle this way, or I like to go boom and hit with both. Okay? So hit and then bang this way and then pass. Right? So, all right. So one of the things that we like to do is extract human nature. Human nature is one of the most predictable things that exist, right? So a lot of people say, well, you know, fights are unpredictable, and that's a true statement. But I can create situations that are predictable, okay? So like if I go to hit him in the groin, this is naturally going to happen. The head comes forward, you protect it, right? If I'm going to put my finger in your eye, he's actually going to move back and present his groin, and so on and so forth. So there's certain things that you can do to extract that human nature in them, okay? Anytime that you hit the torso, in particular the intercostal region, you're going to create a freeze response. If you've ever been kicked here, punched here, it probably looks something like this. Oh! And it's just a moment where if you're in the middle of a punch, which is normally when it happens, right? Like let's say a good example of how to bait that. All right, so I'm here and I present my head. As soon as he jabs, boom. He even just did it right there. What did his arm do? And it froze for a moment. A moment is quarter second, half second, right? The fantasy world is they're going to stand like this and you're going to dance around. No. I barely tapped it, and then, now imagine if I went, oh, and that occurs, okay? So we have to exploit those moments of opportunity. So one of the ways to break the arm in a very quick way, and it's pretty violent, is to, on this entry that we just did, as I hit, I'll go come this way a little bit, okay? So as I go to cover here and I hit, this is where the hit to the hip or to the rib will create that freeze response. And now, notice how this hand is draped over top. So this is our turtle hand. So as I hit here, now a turtle hand this way. Now as I hit here, the energy is this. I have to go to here to ensure that the break occurs. Because if not, I'll get a hyperextension and he'll just move with it, like that. But if I go fast, then what's going to happen is the weight of his body is too much to move fast enough to compensate for this shot to the elbow. All right, so if I go slow, he'll move with it, see? But if I go fast, his body can't keep up, so the elbow is the first to go. It's the weakest part of this link here. Okay, so now, same entry, boom, and then right here. As I hit here, this goes down. So you have to make sure that you have that exchange like this. So when they meet, it'll be here. But when they finish, it's this. Yeah. It's ballistic. Ballistic meaning that once I get to here, it's a hit. So it's easy to start getting into pressure-based. Pressure-based. And this hand always wants to grab. And there's nothing wrong with that. I promise. This is just preferences, right? I prefer not to grab if I don't have to. Because the moment I do this, he understands what to do. Okay? So I treat everybody like they're super skilled. And if I grab him, then he can wrist lock me. I've committed this hand. Versus if I'm just monitoring, see, I'm always trying to find a way not to really grab. Hooking, 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 hooking. All these things allow me to still move his arm, but it doesn't really give him a point of reference like a grip does. Okay? So this here, this is together. Boom, and then ballistic. So it's tough to kind of